Hey crafty friends, it's Rick. I'm back with another video. Today we're featuring products from Paper Rose Studio. We're going to be using the Christmas Merry and Noel Small Word Duo Clear Stamp Set. And we're matching that with the Fairytale Christmas pattern paper. And I'm using cardstock from the Baby Dreams A4 Smooth cardstock. I'm using the Cornflower Blue and the Cherry Blossom Pink. And then some basic white as well. We're going to be doing a Z fold or Z fold card. It's kind of a modified version of one. So we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing our coloring. I'm going to go over the parts and pieces you're going to need. We're going to need a card base that is 5.5 by 8 1/4, which is 20.9 centimeters by 13.9 centimeters. We're gonna score this at 2 3/4 inches on both sides. So I'm gonna score that at 2 3/4. Flip it over and score it at 2 3/4 again. And for centimeters, that is you're gonna score it at 10 centimeters and 17 centimeters. So there's that. You're also gonna need a piece of that same colored cardstock. Cut it 2 3/4 by 9.5, which is 10 centimeters by 17 centimeters. I'm sorry, 24 centimeters by 7 centimeters. We're going to score this. I'm going to flip that over. We're going to score it at 4. And then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to score it at 2 3/4. So you're going to score that at 10 centimeters and 17 centimeters if I did the math correctly. All right, for our other parts and pieces, you're going to need 2 matte layers of the basic white that are 2.5 by 2 3/4, 6.3 centimeters by 7 centimeters. You're going to need 1 matte layer that's 2.5 by 3 7/8, which is 1.4 centimeters by 10 centimeters. You're going to need 3 pieces of basic white cut at 2.5 by 5 1/4, 6.4 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. You're going to need a piece to stamp on, which I've already have. I've used the Intense Black ink from Paper Rose Studio to stamp that in because it's a hybrid ink. You're going to need a 3.5 by 2 1/4 piece, which is 5.7 by 8.9 centimeters. And then we've got our pattern papers. You're also going to need a scrap of that pink that we're going to make a very thin mat with. So I didn't give a measurement for that. You're just going to do that however thick. All right, for our pattern papers, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 2.5, 5.3 by 6.5 centimeters. You're going to need 3 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 5. I'm so sorry about that. Which is 12.7 by 5.7. So there's those. That's all your parts and pieces. First thing we're going to do is we're going to color our images to match our pattern paper so we can get that out of the way. So we're going to color our little snowman. I'm going to give him a little pink to match our pattern paper, or as close to as I could get it to match. So I'm going to come in with my darkest color, which is RV23. I'm going to come in with RV21 next. And this is just simple coloring, nothing fancy. Now I'll come in with RV11 as my lightest color and blend that out. For his little nose, I'm going to give it E11. As I'm keeping everything close to my pattern paper. So we went kind of light in a more pastelish color palette. I'm also going to do my little squirrels in that color as well. So we're going to do them. Give him a little shadow. I'm going to color them all the same. So we'll just give him that little color right there as well. And this time I'm going to come in with E21. At least I think they're a squirrel. They look like squirrels. We're saying they're squirrels. Then I'll blend that out with the E00. Like I said, just simple coloring. I just want their faces to be lighter than the rest of them. Now, for our snowman, we're going to give him a little color. We're going to use B01, B00, and B000. So I'm going to start off by giving him his little shadow. I'm also going to give the little our little squirrels a little bit of that color on their white as well. We want him to be nice and frosty. Then we'll do our 00. And then I'm going to take a colorless blender and soften that edge of our little snowman so that that blends together to the white of the paper. Now I'm going to pull in B02. And I'm going to give my top of my snowman's little hat some color. So we're going to use that B02, B01, and B00 to do that. And then when that ink dries, we're going to come back and add the stripes in there with the B02. Now, for our Mary, we're going to come back to our RV color combination, and we're going to color every other letter. So we're going to add our little pink. And again, you can do these however you want. Color-wise, you can color them all the same. Or alternate like I'm doing. I like it when I alternate the colors. Or give them that gradient look. We're going to come in with our R21, and we'll give this one that gradient feel. Blend everything together with our lightest color. Then we'll do our other little RY. So we'll just add this in. Where we start building our double ZFO, double Z card. For our other letters, we're going to come back to our blues. We're going to use B02 and B01 and B00. So I'll go ahead and color my darkest colors first. Blend that out with our B01. I just matched the my Copics to my pattern paper, or as close as I could get. It's not going to be an exact match, but it will be close. Now I'm going to add some shadow under him. So I'm going to take my C5 Cool Gray 5 marker. I'm just going to add a little shadow under. And I'll blend that out with my C3. Our little shadow under our words. Because they need a landing point. And I'm just going to take a clear. And I'll soften that to the white of the paper. Let that blend together. And our little snowman and our little squirrels need some cheeks, so we'll give them a little cheek. I'm going to come in with that RV11 and soften that out. Now for the stripes, I'm just going to come in with our BO2, and I'm just going to hit every other stripe and just come right over that to give it a little darker than the other. And that is our coloring, so we will move on to the rest of our card. We're going to layer up our matte layers first. So we're going to take our 3 pieces of pattern paper and our mats. We actually need 4 of these. So I'll cut another one of those in a minute. We're just going to take liquid glue. And I'm going to add to the back of my pattern paper. And I'll just give those a little bit of a mat. So we'll do our other 2 pieces. And I had a little skinny strip for my back panel, but apparently Rick has lost it. All right, I'm going to cut my other piece of basic white, and I'll be right back. All right, this piece of basic white is going to go on the back of our card, and it's going to be where we can write a message. But before we get there, we're going to go ahead and finish layering up our pieces right here. We've got our 2 pieces of our pattern paper. So I'm going to have, I meant to flip this over, but that will be okay. I wanted the deer. It's going to show off both sides, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and do it this way. So there is that one. And then this is for our, here, right there. But before we do that, we've got to mat this onto our little pink piece. And what we're going to do is we're just going to give it a very thin mat. So we're just going to give it a little thin of a mat. And then I'll pull in my trimmer and I'll just trim that to size. It's about 2 3/8 by 4 3 7/8, 3 5/8. Then we'll take that and we will add to our white mat layer. We'll just give that. It's going to be shorter on the 2 tops, or the top and the bottom, but with our sides are going to have a little bit more of a mat. Okay. All right, so we'll move these all out of the way. Because what we're going to do is we're going to fold our card base. So what we're going to do is we're going to, this far side over here, we're going to fold back. Actually, we could do it this way to hide that. So you're going to want a valley and a mountain. Okay. Mountain and a valley. I always forget that. It's mountain and valley. So we'll take our bone folder and we'll give that a good crease on both ends. That is going to be our card base. This part is going to get attached to the very back panel. So that's where you're going to write your personal message. So we'll go ahead and attach that down. That's going to be where our little strip of pattern paper is going to go. Just along that edge, so we have plenty of room to write. We've got to pick our pattern paper for our front. So we're going to do this pattern right there. Add liquid glue to that. That's going to go right there. We're going to give it a nice little edge. Then we'll open our card up. We can alternate these or do the same one. I'm going to alternate this one because there's not a continuing pattern. And I'll show you what I mean on my example. See how this pattern is like that? That continues to this one. So that's why I did it that way. But this one, it doesn't matter. It's not a continuated pattern. So we'll add this panel over here. There's the base of our Z fold. Now for our other piece, we're going to fold the biggest piece is going to go to the left, so we're going to fold it back on itself as a mountain. Give it a nice crease. We're going to take our small piece and fold back to create that valley. Just like so. Our sentiment will go on the front. Just like so, and we'll give it a nice little gap right there, just like that. Then our other pieces will go on our little panels right here. Then our second one is going to go right there. We're going to close this up, and we're going to take and line this up with the edge of our matte layer, okay? So all we have to do is add glue to that part. We'll line it up in the center. Just like that. Then we're going to take and open that up, which I should have already done that. We're going to open it up. And then we're going to take and add, we'll close that back. We're going to add liquid adhesive on the back of that flap right there, only where it will attach to our card. And then we will press that into place to make our Z fold. Now we're going to do some highlights. So I'm going to give him a few little highlights on our little snowman. Have our little squirrel have highlights. I'm going to add just a little bit to our letters. So we'll add a couple little dots there. Anywhere that the light would hit it, or our little characters, we want to add just a little bit of a highlight. Just a little, not a lot. Now to finish him off, and because I like to have my snowman give it a little glitzen, I'm going to add a little Stardust Stickles to our little snowman. Take a little on my finger and add there, just so he has a little bit of a sparkly to him. You could also add some of the crystal clear rhinestones if you wanted, but we're going to keep this super simple. So there is our double Z fold card. Here's the other version that I made earlier. There's a closer look at our card that we made together today. If you like this video, you're probably going to like the one coming up right over there. I'll see you in that video. Bye, guys. Stay crafty. Love you.